Oh, snap. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. My name's Patrick. Take a second. YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. Tap the screen like crazy. TikTok. Hit the follow button. Hit all the things. Just do all the things, y'all. All right. What happened to the other page? Which other page, boss mom? Which other page? But let's jump into this. YouTube. You guys ready for this? This one is killer cop pretends to be a concerned husband to hide his evil plan.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Lord. What is this guy thinking he can get away with now? I love being able to watch both. See, there you go. There you go. That's the secret sauce right there. I'm going to shrink myself down. Let's jump right into it.
911. What's the address? 9.
Oh, hell. You can already tell it's fake, man. You crazy as hell calling 911 being like... No.
You what?
Fake. I'm going to jail for this one, dude. You crazy as hell. That is crazy as hell. By the way, y'all, this is Beyond Evil. Make sure you follow them. Amazing channel. They're pinned down in the description. Let's go.
What's the matter? Tell me where you're at.
He shot himself.
Okay, take a deep breath for me. Take a deep breath. Come on. I need you here. Okay?
Yeah, so just so you know, 60 or nigh. This guy that we're going to, retired ISP. Yeah, but he's super volatile. He's torched off rounds. He's done all kinds of shit. So we're waiting for all of us to get here to go in and be aware that it could turn into something major. Wait with him.
Get gloves.
This is the body cam footage. By the way, TikTok, come over to YouTube if you want to watch it. Hit me with those ghosts too. The Mystery Project on YouTube. I mean, yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Send in medical.
Got that?
Yep. Central 20.
She have anything?
No heartbeat.
Lucidity?
Not seeing anything.
The recordings you have just heard and seen are evidence of what happened in the aftermath of Kendi Howard's death on February 2nd, 2021.
Damn, that's recent.
Before we begin, we would like to extend our deepest sympathies to the family and loved ones of the victim in this case, Kendi Howard. Divorce can be heartbreaking for some couples, but for one 48-year-old Idaho woman who tried to make her marriage work for more than half her life, divorce wasn't an ending she was dreading. After 27 years, Kendi Howard was ready to move on. Her family and friends said that she was so elated about the decision that she was practically giddy about starting the next stage of her life. She was planning for a bright new future, one that did not include Daniel Howard.
Oh, hell.
Kendi was a bubbly, outgoing person who loved the outdoors. She was the mother of 2 children, a daughter from a previous relationship, and a son she shared with Dan Howard. The couple lived in Athol, Idaho, a community that is part of the Coeur d'Alene metropolitan area. Kendi was taking concrete
Coeur d'Alene,
action to break ties with Dan Howard, a former Idaho state trooper who was jealous and controlling. She had recently made an offer on a house in Kamaya, Idaho, 176 miles away from Athol. That's where she rekindled a relationship with her high school sweetheart, Daniel Pardo. She had given notice at a company she worked for 20 years.
Rekindled the relationship with the high school sweetheart.
Her dream was to open an antique store. But as the conclusion of the Howards' divorce grew near, tension between Kendi and Dan was reaching a breaking point. In the early morning hours of January 29th, 2021, just 4 days before her death, Kendi made a
4 days? By the way, YouTube, can you guys hear me all right? Does it sound any different, like the microphone? It's not in the same spot. I don't know if I like it or not yet. Let me know.
distress call to her new boyfriend. She didn't speak to him directly, but left the line open so he could hear what was happening. He would later testify at Dan Howard's trial
Yeah, he's smiling.
that Kendi was distraught and emotional, and he heard sounds of thuds in the background. He hung up and called Kendi's parents, who called 911.
Central Dispatch, this is...
Yes. I had a call from my daughter, Cindy Howard.
Okay.
She called in a panic, and I know her husband just got home from Alaska, and they're getting a divorce, and it didn't sound very good out there.
Tell me exactly what happened.
We was in bed, and my wife just got a phone call from and here, I'll let you tell about.
I got a call from a friend that she called them, and she's in a panic and then hung up, and I've been trying to call her, and she won't answer. She's had trouble with him before. Dan Howard, you guys have been there before.
Okay. Are you at that location now?
No one.
Okay.
And I
Oh, hell.
got a call from another friend.
Were there any weapons involved?
I don't know if he has weapons. And he's been there before because he pretended to like that. He'll kill you and take you with him before he does that. She just
Dear
called her friend,
Lord.
was in a panic, and then the phone hung up. Just a second, just call me. Hello? Hello?
Katie! Thank you for the heart. Yay!
Yeah. The cops are on their way.
Oh, Lord.
The cops are on their way. Okay? Okay. Stay on the line with your dad.
Man, this was 4 days before
Okay, she's calling. She's in a
he
panic.
did it.
She asked if Dad's sick. That's a sign that she needs help.
Okay. What is she saying? What's going on?
Pardon? No,
She's saying what's going on.
no, because he's there
Jeannie,
listening. That's
thank
why she said it. And she's crying.
Okay.
It's crazy. I told her not to freaking.
Okay. All right. Do you think it's been physical?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys were there last summer because he pretended to commit.
Bop, 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 bop.
Okay.
Oh, hell.
Okay. Hold on just one second.
I just said I'm on the phone with the cops, and she said, "Yeah,
Is she saying anything?
she's on the phone with her dad right now."
Okay.
After Kendi's parents placed that call, police were dispatched to the Howard residence to conduct a welfare check. The officers reported that Kendi was anxious and scared, but seemed relieved when they arrived. She packed a bag and went to stay at her parents' home that night.
Oh, hell.
When Kendi called her new boyfriend later that morning to tell him what had happened, she was upset and sobbing. She said she had woken up in bed to find Dan looming over her. He was dressed in black and wearing gloves. She spotted a gun magazine on the floor. She believed he was going to kill her.
Dear Lord.
Her new boyfriend and her parents begged her not to return to the house the next day, but Kendi insisted
Right? Oh, my God. Can you imagine just waking up and dude standing over you with gloves and everything?
that she had to go back. She wanted to make sure her animals were okay, and she had an eye appointment to keep. Police would be called to the
no.
home again on February 2nd, this time because of a 911 call placed by Daniel Howard. Body-worn cameras by the responding officers captured his demeanor at the scene. He claimed Kendi had shot herself with a handgun while taking a bath on the second floor.
Man, you are crazy as hell. How are you going to even... I mean, it's just a horrible story to begin with. And then with everything that's happening, you think that her parents and like everybody else and the police, everything are just gonna be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh my God, yeah, she probably just did that. There's no way that you had anything to do with this.
How dare you?
And these people are crazy.
Oh.
So medical's going to disturb your sleep.
Oh, please, no.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
You what?
No, please, no. He's walking out like throwing his hands around. Like, oh.
Hi, guys.
Man, you are crazy.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Excuse me? I honestly haven't seen it. I know what she's.
This dude literally taught the class on my wife or my spouse has been unalived. I did it, but I'm trying to make people think I didn't.
There's.
This is a master class on what not to do.
No. Please don't tell me it's gonna go away.
Hi, sir.
You done?
Good, how are you?
Oh, please.
Arden, thank you. Galaxy Gang checking in. Thank you. Chrissy, yeah, it's fake as hell. That's why nobody's saying anything. They all know it's fake too. He's got hella people around him, and they're just looking at him like, man, you are crazy as hell. I'm about to read you your rights, you weirdo. That's what they're saying in their heads. I can see it. Nobody's like, oh my God, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. You know, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Because you could tell it's fake. Do you need anything? Actually, yeah, this is Beyond Evil talking about the case of Candy and Daniel. What were their last names? I can't remember.
Investigators noted in their reports that although Dan made loud wailing noises while they were at his house,
He wasn't actually crying.
were no physical indications of crying, such as tears or mucus. As one
Or actually being sad.
officer wrote, the long-term excessive show of emotion seemed especially odd for a seasoned former law enforcement officer and former Marine.
Yeah, that part too. Randa, thank you.
After they checked on Kendi and determined that there were no signs of life, officers briefly discussed how to handle notifying Dan of his wife's death.
Zach?
Yep.
Do we give him? This is a different case. So, given the circumstances of him and emotions and things like that, do we want to tell him? I don't think medical. Did medical tell him that she's dead?
I don't think so.
Do we want to tell him or do we want to wait?
You better tell him.
Okay, I got it. Actually, you know what? You haven't done one. Let's all wait.
Okay. Before I take pictures?
Yeah.
Okay. What's his name?
Thank you.
Dan?
Oh God, I wonder how horrible this is going to be. Arden, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Y'all hit me with those ghosts too. Hit the follow button too if you're new here. TikTok, come on. YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. Let's get 100 likes. Oh God, how bad is this going to be?
Hey, Dan.
Dan?
Dan?
Arden, thank you.
Hey, Dan, I'm Deputy Wheeler. I'm sorry to inform you, but your wife is passed, sir.
No, God damn it!
Straight to jail.
Hey, Dan.
I got it.
Hey, Dan. Is there anyone that we can call for you? Anyone that can...
Oh my God.
Is there anyone we can call to give you some support or anything like that? Any family that...
A lawyer.
Dan, I know this is hard, but when is the last time that you saw your wife alive? I know this is tough.
I don't know.
How long ago? Can you recall?
What time is it?
Did you call 911
What time is it?
when you heard the gunshot?
No,
Okay.
I didn't. Oh no.
Well, help us out with the time frame, all right?
Did you call when you heard the Oh, I should have. No, you should have not shot her. That's what you should have not done. You should have not did the deed, sir.
I didn't think it was a gunshot. I was
Okay.
down.
What? So you're a former Marine and a former state trooper, and you don't know the difference between like a book falling and a gunshot? Man, you sound crazy as hell right there. That's for sure.
Stairs, TV going. It sounded like something hit the floor or something. I don't know.
When was the last time you saw your wife before she went to go take a bath?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Okay.
Okay.
Hour and a half or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know. I'm out of it.
It's about 11:15.
Maybe 9:30.
9:30 or so. Okay.
I don't know. I might be wrong.
Guy's worst actor ever, yeah.
Oh my God.
Despite his best efforts to present himself as an innocent man,
Yeah, despite trying to look innocent, he looked incredibly guilty. Oh, thank you, Selena, thank you.
investigators were immediately suspicious of Dan Howard because
The Orb Queen, yup, 100% fake.
they knew he had a volatile past. In 2013, after he found out Kendi was having an affair with their neighbor and friend Matthew Wood, his response was extreme and multi-pronged. According
She was having an affair with the neighbor and friend? Oh, hell.
to the Kootenai County Prosecutor's Office,
Kootenai County? Oh, hell.
Dan pointed an assault rifle at Matthew and threatened to splatter his brains all over the wall. He fired a shotgun at the roof of the house, stole his guns and mail, and poured syrup in his vehicles. He graffitied the lawn so conspicuously it could be seen from Google Earth satellite imagery. Dan also sent Matthew vulgar and threatening messages telling him he was lucky to still be breathing and that he understood why men kill their
I mean, dude was like with his wife. You know what I mean? Like, man, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I'd have words with that guy. Actually, no, because I wouldn't be with somebody that would do that anyways. But yeah.
old ladies. He followed
V is never the answer.
Matthew around in his patrol vehicle and confronted him at work, where he ripped a piece of metal off his desk and smashed it into his laptop computer. The neighbor grew so fearful of Dan that he eventually fled his Athol home and moved to Washington State just to get away from him.
Damn.
Dan Howard was charged with first-degree stalking, aggravated assault, and malicious injury to property
Damn, you crazy as hell, dude.
in connection with those crimes. He admitted to some of the acts, but not all, and agreed to pay restitution to Matthew. When officers interviewed Dan at his house on the night of Kendi's death, he attempted to portray his wife as irrational and unstable. He claimed that
Oh, Lord. Selena, thank you for the donuts. Y'all hit me with them donuts. By the way, TikTok, hit the follow button. Come over to YouTube if you want to watch the video with us, though. We're live on YouTube. It's the Mystery Project on YouTube. You can see it. And YouTube, hit the thumbs up button for me. Let's keep going.
she had threatened to harm herself many times before.
Did she ever make any statements that had you concerned about her well-being?
Yeah, about every day. Well, it's just she's so emotional.
He said about every
She's
day.
still up, and I agree with her.
Man, you sound calm as a cucumber right now.
To go the other way.
How long's this been going on?
Why does that dude have his notepad out if he's not even writing notes? There's not a single note in there. Is that the beginning of the interview?
Last ditch, we were pretty distant, you know. I knew something was up, but
last month then?
Yeah.
I mean, he's saying a bunch of stuff right there. He's not writing a damn thing down.
It turned out to be, yeah, pretty distant.
This happened in 2021.
Cheating on you again?
I asked for that. I asked for that to give me closure, because, you know, that would be it. But she said she hadn't been.
You believe it?
Man, her behavior, I don't know. It just doesn't add up. Okay.
What doesn't add up?
She's behaving the same way she was before. And,
oh, hell. Oh, gee, thank you.
You know, before we made a go, that was pretty good. And when she said she didn't want a divorce, or she does want a divorce, it changed about every other day.
Dan said his marriage to Kendi became strained because they had a long-distance relationship half the time. He worked in Alaska's Prudhoe Bay, operating equipment with a schedule of 3 weeks on and 3 weeks off. That wasn't always the case. Back in 2014, Dan resigned his job of 19 years as a trooper with the Idaho State Police following his suspension. His stalking behavior toward Matthew Wood.
Oh, he got suspended for doing what he did with her like little lover dude.
Led to his downfall. When law enforcement served a warrant on his property in connection with the case, they found thousands of rounds of ammunition he had stolen from the Idaho State Patrol. They also learned...
Man, you crazy as hell.
He had a fraud...
You think they were going to find that? Why does he have like a headshot too? Was he trying to get into acting? I mean, I hope not.
Title for his Harley-Davidson motorcycle and a white-tailed deer that he had poached without a license. He was charged in both Kootenai and Bonner counties for these offenses. Dan Howard was sentenced in early 2015 for malicious injury to property, petty theft, title fraud, and failing to tag a deer he shot.
Hey, you crazy as hell for all that.
Was ordered to serve 120 days in jail and complete 600 hours of community service. He was also given a suspended prison term for 3 years and placed on probation. Although the Howards' marriage had somehow managed to survive all of the previous turmoil, it seemed that Kendi had made up her mind this time. She was done with him. On the night that Kendi died, Dan claimed it was an issue that had come up between them regarding the divorce that had pushed her over the edge. He said she became very upset and emotional when he insisted that they include the Kamaya house in the liquidation and split of their assets, even though she had put the offer in on the house herself. Dan said Kendi had the gun because she had asked him to get it out of their safe a couple of days prior so she would have it as part of the division of assets.
She went and put earnest money on a house while I was up on the slope down there. Texted me once that she was going to go see an attorney. She saw the attorney a day before I got in, and then she had those papers. And I tried to talk her out of it. Let's talk first. Well, she didn't. And so since I've been here, we've been just going back and forth. You want to make it work? Okay, I'll encourage you to make it work. If you don't want to make it work, I'm encouraging you to still make it work. I couldn't see throwing 27 years away. But then, you know, I'm the one that filled out the papers, and I'll give her what she wants, if that's what she wants. And then she will do everything 50-50, okay. That includes the flipping house down there. Oh, sure. Wait.
So you're, I mean, obviously you're wanting to make things.
Yeah, thank you.
Things work here, and she's.
I'm trying to encourage her.
She's telling me you're not hearing me. I want the house and to change.
Okay.
I fell out of love. It breaks my heart. I'm hurting you.
Yeah, and then she'll come back and go, well, I'm not sure if I want the divorce. We'll let that cat.
Kendi and Dan's joint assets reportedly totaled about $2 million. He denied that dividing it in half bothered him, but people close to Kendi told police that he was ultra-focused on money and would hassle her about debit card transactions as small as $10. Being forced to split their substantial nest egg was viewed by investigators as a powerful motive for Kendi's murder. They weren't the
you get $0 in prison.
Only ones who viewed Dan with suspicion. When the police were processing the scene at his house, Dan took a phone call from his stepdaughter. She was yelling at him so loudly that the officers could hear her from across the room. They used this conflict as an opportunity to confront Dan about whether he was telling the truth.
I think you killed your wife. Because I got to tell you, that phone call put chills down my spine.
Oh.
People.
You did it, didn't you, Dan?
No, I didn't.
You did it, didn't you, Dan? No.
I didn't think so. But now, after listening to that, I think you did, didn't you?
How the hell, she doesn't know. She wasn't here. She knows what,
well, what does
she knows that there's a divorce going on.
What does she know? She knows something.
Man, you are crazy as hell. If you didn't do it, you wouldn't be focused on what the girl said on the phone. The stepdaughter, you'd be saying, there's no way I did it. No way. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Not, well, she didn't know. She wasn't here.
She wouldn't have reacted the way she did.
Well, I don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is? You sure about that?
Mother, she obviously had concerns if that was her knee jerk.
Okay. Well,
you understand where we're coming from?
No, man.
Because I had talked to my daughter about that.
Stan,
you think all you want.
I think you did.
No, I didn't.
Man, you crazy as hell. You crazy over even taking that phone call.
Kendi's body indicated that she had fought hard to save her life. The violent struggle left her with a broken jaw, bruises all over her body, lacerations on her feet, and a second-degree burn on her arm. Prosecutors
Holy hell, but she did all that to herself in the bath before deleting herself. Man, you crazy as hell, Dan.
Asserted that Dan asphyxiated Kendi by putting her in a carotid restraint. The technique involves placing an arm around the victim's neck to apply pressure that cuts off the blood flow to the brain. It can render someone unconscious in seconds. Investigators believe that Dan Howard then removed Kendi's clothing and carried her lifeless body into the bathroom where he filled the bathtub, put the gun in her mouth, and pulled the trigger. The gun was found in the water with her. The bullet had a downward trajectory, but self-inflicted gunshot wounds usually have an upward or horizontal trajectory.
Wow.
And there wasn't much blood at the scene, further supporting the theory that the wound occurred after death. It
you crazy as
wasn't
hell,
until 2 years after Kendi died that Dan was charged with killing her.
2 years?
1 year later, while his trial was underway, he was arrested at the Spokane International Airport for breaking the conditions of his release that prohibited him from going within 2 miles of the airport. In March of 2024,
where the hell was he trying to go?
Dan Howard was convicted of second-degree murder and domestic battery. At his sentencing hearing, he continued to deny that he had killed his wife.
Oh, God, here we go. Let's hear how horrible this speech is going to be.
I stand before you, shell of a man I used to be. Hell, I don't even have a shell left. My wife took her life. My will to live went down significantly. And when the jury found me guilty of crimes I didn't commit, went down even further.
The judge.
Oh, yeah, poor you.
Judge cited a combination of factors that drove Daniel Howard to kill Kendi, including jealousy, greed, pride, anger, and revenge. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder and received an additional 10-year sentence for domestic battery that will run concurrently.
Oh my God, that is crazy. This dude. I'm a shell of a man I used to be. Okay, well, maybe don't do that to your wife. Do you ever think of that? Dan? Bye, Dan. God, what an idiot. All right, let's continue, shall we? Y'all, this one is killer daughter thinks she got away until boyfriend turns her in.
How dare you?
Here we go, y'all. TikTok, by the way, hit the follow button if you're new. My name is Patrick. If you like true crime, I'm live every night. And hit me with these donuts, y'all. Let's go nuts for donuts. Come on, you guys. Let's get it. All right, let's go.
It was after midnight when the black truck pulled into a graveled parking area near an Illinois nature preserve.
Oh, hell. Jessica, thank you. Brianna, thank you.
Prostitutes got out. A man
what?
stayed behind the wheel of the truck.
Prosthetic parachutes? Is that what it said? Fairly certain it said prosthetic parachutes.
One, the older of the two, took a moment to look for her cigarettes, while the other, her daughter, raised a weighted tire iron and got ready to strike.
Oh, hell.
What the hell, Chrissy? The woman yelled out as the daughter brought the tire iron down on her head. In moments, the younger had dragged her to the ground in a stranglehold, choking her out. She then dragged the woman back into the brush and went to work on her with a short-bladed folding knife. Bloody-handed and out of
Dear God. Entertainment, educational purposes only, TikTok overlords.
breath, she made her way back to the truck and instructed the man to drive away. She had orphaned herself in an effort to protect her own motherhood. Join us as we look into the tawdry lives of Chrissy Roush and her mother, Teresa Pman, two women who had been on a lifelong collision course that ended in that fateful moment. Before we begin, we would like to extend our deepest sympathies to the family and loved ones of Teresa Pman.
By the way, y'all, this is Beyond Evil on YouTube. Awesome channel. Make sure you go subscribe. They're pinned down in the description of the video. TikTok, if you want to find it and watch the video with us, come over to the Mystery Project. Mystery Project on YouTube. You'll find the channel. You'll find the live stream. Let's go.
Back 911. What's your emergency?
Yeah, I would like to report a possible dead body found out by the Maple Grove Nature Preserve.
And have you seen the body, or?
Yeah, we just noticed we're on our way out, and we didn't notice it when we came in because we're leaving the same place we came out at. And I just saw something red over to my right going down the trail, and I was like, looks like a person laying there. Went up a little bit further. I didn't get very close to it, maybe 15 feet away, but no response to...
you said you confirm it is a person?
Yes.
Okay.
Looks like they're wearing a red tank top. Looks like a female. Red tank top with looks like blood all over her chest.
Jessica, thank you.
Okay, you said red all over her chest, like the shirt's not red, but...
The shirt's red, but yeah, there was apparently blood or something on her chest that was exposed.
Okay, are you willing to go up closer to see what's going on, or do you not want to get up close to it, or?
I guess I can trudge up a little bit closer to see what's going on.
Okay, it's up to you. And, I don't want to make you do something you don't want to do, but if we can check on her to see if, maybe she's still possibly alive or if there's anything else, so.
Gotcha. No response. Looks like her throat's been pretty messed up.
What's that?
Looks like her throat's been pretty messed up.
Oh, hell.
Looks like there's blood all over her top part of her chest with her red tank top.
Okay, does it look like it was maybe cut or what?
Can't really tell her head's in the light. Oh, man, I looks like it might have been cut.
Okay. Do you see any weapons laying around, or?
No, I sure don't.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, can you tell, does it seem like it's been there a while, or?
Yeah, there's flies starting to gather around. Looks like she's got holes in her shirt, too, so she may have been shot.
Okay.
Deputies and investigators from the McLean County Sheriff's Office were quick to the scene and
oh hell, they got like maroon cop cars there. Did you see that?
they found the body of a middle-aged woman who had been beaten and stabbed multiple times. She had no forms of
crazy as hell.
identification on her. The area was quickly cordoned off.
Charlene, thank you.
And investigators from the Illinois State Police would also lend their assistance. That evening, the sheriff's office would send out pictures to the local media of a tattoo and a necklace the woman had worn in hopes that someone could identify her. By the next morning, they had received a number of calls, including one from the woman's own parents. She was identified as 47-year-old Teresa Pman, who had an adult daughter living in East Peoria, Illinois, and a young son living in Texas. Her daughter had been removed from her custody at the age of 3 to be raised by those parents. The son was in the custody of Teresa's estranged husband. Both relationships had been contentious over the years. The parents went to the local coroner's office and provided positive identification of the woman. However, her daughter, Chrissy Roush, declined to participate, saying that she just couldn't bring herself to see her mother in that condition.
Man, then why put her in that condition, you crazy...
Chrissy would be brought in for questioning on...
Oh, hell, man, you look crazy as hell. You did it. That's what they're thinking immediately when you came in looking like that.
Wednesday, May the 5th, after she called the sheriff's department and said that she had seen her mom the night before the murder. She laid out a story of the two women living in separate motel rooms, drinking, doing drugs, and working
Doing
as
drugs? Oh, hell.
prostitute.
Drinking apple juice and doing rugs and parachutes again. Parachutes.
Detective Corey Beverlin of the McLean County
Are you wearing bowling shoes?
Sheriff's Office would conduct the interview. At this point,
You about to strike out?
Christine was not a suspect in the case.
So obviously something happened to your mom. You're aware of that, correct? That's why we're upset.
Pretty kind of aware of that one.
Okay.
Pretty kind of aware about that one.
I know that you've been with your mom this past week. Could you just try it as hard as you can and walk me through how that all started, what's been going on? And like I said, I'm here to help you and to help her to figure out what happened. And I think you can help me out a lot because you've been there the last week. So how did this start?
She came to Bloomington because the train station was here and she was going to drop my little brother off, but his father decided just to come get him, so she got a room at Red Roof.
Oh, hell. By the way, I don't know who needs to hear this, but interrogation videos and like the setup audio-wise, the rest of the police departments around the country need to take notes from this. This is how you do it. This is some crispy ass audio on this interrogation.
Okay.
Just, credit where credit's due. This is a good, this sounds sonically, it's very pleasing to my ears.
She made a page on Backpage with her face and everything. And
Made a what on who?
So she had men coming in and they were not. They got her back on shit that she had just come clean off of. So she was smoking again, like.
Oh, hell.
And there was, I don't know if it was heroin, but a little brown.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Scare us when. What do you drink? I'm drinking a High Noon. Grapefruit High Noon, Just doing my thing.
It was like chalk, almost like chalky, but she did say she had that. That night, she had a visit in Hayward. And she said she had a ride back. And me and her don't. I can't watch her drink and then she gets mad at me, so I couldn't handle it, so I had to just
put on my bowling shoes and run.
And it was the 4th of July. I have the divorce papers, so I figured why not just. But other than that, we stopped at the gas station to get her cigarettes because she was freaking out, and then that was pretty much That was it. She had a lot of men coming in and out of her room where she was going on visits.
Okay. When was the last time you saw your mom?
That we dropped her off. We dropped her off in Hayward. At 2 a.m., 2:30, around midnight till 3, we were bringing her. But by then I was drinking.
Don't worry, y'all. I got you. Why the heck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop trucking lying.
And she was just telling me directions as to where to go.
Christine still acts as if she doesn't know what happened to Teresa.
We found her.
No, I don't.
Okay, on Sunday.
No, I don't.
I'm just trying to get a timeline.
The detective then tries to come to an understanding of what brought Teresa to the area from Texas and why Chrissy was also there.
My mom had not a lot of money, so I mean, it had to have been bad, but she does this all the time. All the time.
You know, it seems like just about every month they get into it and she takes off.
There's this, well, the guy, because I was mad she wasn't answering her phone. She said she had a visit, she wasn't answering, so I went and I banged on her door, and some guy got very angry because he thought it was the cops, and like slammed her against the wall. Started freaking out on her.
When was that?
Never.
About 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Thank you. Y'all hit me with them donuts.
That day, that whole, so Saturday.
So, okay, here, I'm going to stop you and just so I'm clear. So you dropped her off in Hayworth on a night, overnight one night.
I don't know Bloomington, Hayward.
Okay, so a small town outside of Bloomington?
Yes.
And then that guy brought her back. Did he stay with her at the hotel?
She said she had a ride back.
She had a ride back.
Who it was, that was the last time I saw her.
The person that brought her back, did you see her actually get back?
No.
She never came back?
No. And I was drinking. I was tired of babysitting.
From her using whatever she was using and...
Oh, hell. Little Jelly Bean, yep. I was on Paranormal Caught on Camera. They featured me a bunch on that.
And he got away yours and started using again. And now I left and I stopped babysitting, and now she.
Did you see the guy that you dropped her off?
I will admit fully, I was trash. I was trash.
Who drove her?
His name's Matt Isbell.
Okay. A friend of yours, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I couldn't handle her anymore. Like, she just...
Where's Matt at? Is he from here?
He's from, East Peoria, Morgan Heights.
Okay.
It's becoming obvious that there's more to the story, and Chrissy is having some trouble keeping the days straight, and she tells him of having run-ins with the clients Teresa had brought to her room, including one who had slammed her mother against a wall during an argument. Before leaving the room for a few minutes, the
Jelly Bean, thank you!
detective checks to see how Chrissy is holding up under the news.
Are you doing okay for a moment? Let me...
It's kind of hitting. I'm sober, so.
Spooks, thank you.
I mean,
I understand.
Spooky.
I mean, you take your time.
I mean, I'd like to know what. I mean, did she overdose?
I can't discuss any details about that right now.
I threw away most of it, so I mean, I don't.
You threw away most of what?
Oh, hell.
What she was using.
What?
I mean, I can't tell you any details about that right now. That's the coroner's office's job.
Over the next few minutes, Chrissy's emotions break through, and she cries alone in the room.
Yeah, because she knows she's busted. Emotional damage. You going to jail. Jelly Bean, thank you. I think I said Jelly Bean. Great waves, thank you. Oh, I thought that was all. I thought she already had a GPS tracker on.
When the detective comes back, Chrissy leads him through a story of what happened the night before Teresa's death. How
We went bowling and I totally forgot to take off my bowling shoes. My bowling shoes are still on.
Chrissy leads him through a story of
You pissing me off. This is crazy as hell. You burn in hell for this one.
what happened
That's your old mom.
The night before Teresa's death. How she and her friend Matt Isbell had taken her mom out to meet up with a client, but they had stopped at a gas station along the way to make some purchases.
God dang. When did this happen? 2 bottles of Barefoot was $6? When did this happen? Holy hell. 11/1969. What? Oh, that's his date of birth. Look. Oh no. Pack of Marlboros, $6.
Had stopped at a gas station along the way to make some purchases.
Did you guys stop anywhere in Hayward? You stopped at a gas station. So how late would it have been that you dropped her off in what you think is Hayworth?
Great Waves, thank you.
2:30 around that time, because I was just.
Did you drop her off at the gas station, or did you just stop there?
We dropped her off around. No, we didn't drop her off at that point. We were going to, because she went. Her card was declined at first, and she was trashed walking around in that gas station trying to buy $112 worth of stuff. But no, we didn't. We dropped her off.
$112 worth of stuff in a gas station. If you're not getting gas, that's almost impossible. We're gonna buy 73 Twinkies, 14 Mountain Dews, and a partridge and a pear tree.
You what?
Me crazy as hell for saying that.
Somewhere else. Like, we kept driving.
Not very far from the gas station, though, right? Still in that same town.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of car does Matt drive?
A truck.
Do you know what kind?
Ford.
What color?
Diesel. Blue.
Like light blue or dark blue?
Dark blue.
Is it a nice truck, or is it
It's actually
Dark blue, dark blue. Have you ever been alone in a granny room?
Do you think that you'd be able to show us where you dropped her off at?
Would be able to show us where you unalived her?
What about Matt? Do you think Matt would? Was he
Definitely
sober?
not. Well, no, he was not sober.
Okay. We need to figure out
I came into
where your mom was at.
gas station. I can't even see which gas station. I have no idea.
Were you guys on your phone at all? Did your mom have her phone with her when you guys dropped her off?
She had a phone. She had a phone.
Okay.
But, I mean...
Oh, hell.
What about you? Did you have your phone at that point?
Now you got green socks on and orange shoes. What? I can't even, like, I can't take anything you're saying serious.
I did at that point.
Do you remember the number of the phone that you had at that point?
Yeah, you don't remember which gas station you tried to spend $112 at? 112, peaches and cream. Need this nut, I'm a fiend. Anybody else remember 112?
I will be on it. You can even ask my ex. I have been switching numbers.
I know. What about Matt's phone? Did you ever use Matt's phone?
Red flag.
For anything?
No.
Did Matt have his phone on him?
No. Because he might have broken it. Like, it's an iPhone, so he shattered the glass, and every time he used it, it just kept cutting his fingers.
The detective would
Man, you crazy as hell.
her alone in the room for a few minutes before returning to continue his questioning. He makes sure to reassure her that she is not a suspect.
Just so you know, I'm not here to judge anybody.
Okay, that's right.
You're not in any trouble. I've been very...
If you can't see the video, yeah, it's on YouTube. TikTok won't let me show it to you, but YouTube will. So come over to YouTube, The Mystery Project on YouTube. You can see it with us.
Very honest with you and very clear that you're here to help me.
I mean, do I get answers? Because it is my fault. I mean, I left her.
No, it's not.
It's my fault, man. That's a Freudian slip right there. You about to go to jail just for that comment.
Then, Chrissy provides a bit more insight into both her mom's life and her own, how they worked and lived, and what kind of relationships they had developed, and how the lifestyle sometimes
A mystery project. It should be pinned on the screen. Can you guys see it? Put some thumbs up in the chat if you can see. The mystery project should be like around here.
got out of control.
Her posting up on Backpage. And I assume that she started getting calls almost immediately after that went up.
Spooky, thank you.
Her face.
So what's the significance of that? People know that she's a real person and it's not a fake page, or did you tell her she shouldn't put her face up there?
Because you get people and someone had just been stabbed over there.
Over where? Oh, in Bloomington. Yeah, at the hotel. Is this her first time that she
used to do it in Texas? That's why I was adopted.
Okay.
She doesn't work, like she doesn't get a job. She doesn't do this, but she lives off of men for. I'll sleep with you if you give me a roof, food, money.
Okay.
Oh, hell.
Did you have online ads as well? Is that how kind of you did things also? I need to figure out why you were there, why your mom came, kind of how everything...
She follows me. I used to take care of her, just...
Because you guys lived together in Morton for a little while before she ended up having to go back to prison.
Heavily. And I try not to get her, so she's not... I don't want her going back. Can I try to have a relationship with her?
Okay. Do you have a drug problem also?
Yes, I used to have a very bad addiction to
and
she was
Coca-Cola.
bringing it back in. I could not. That's why she hadn't been answering her phone yet, so I figured she wasn't back yet. I wanted to leave before she got back because I didn't want to explain.
No, I completely understand.
And then Detective Beverlin brings her back.
Oh, Beyond Evil, please leave it black and white. Then I can't tell how horrible her shoes are.
Around to the events of that night when Teresa was killed, when she inadvertently gives a statement that could be tied directly to a piece of evidence that would be found at the crime scene.
And then did you, right when you got off the freeway, was that where the gas station was?
Pretty sure, yes, because she was about to jump out of the truck to get a cigarette.
Okay.
Are you crazy as hell?
And then I went in and
out the truck for a cigarette? My God.
Got a Black and Mild.
So you
That's not even a cigarette. Black and Mild. You crazy as hell.
actually went and bought something too at the same place?
But caught in another lie.
Yeah, while I was waiting for her to...
And it probably was a Swisher, not a Black and Mild. So you crazy as hell.
And you're sure it was a Subway that was inside there?
Yes, it's a Subway because she was going to get a sandwich, but they were closed.
Okay.
I was going to make a foot-long joke, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take the high road.
In the grass near Teresa's savaged body lay a single red cigarette lighter, one that showed no signs of being out in the weather for any period of time, and more tellingly, the plastic-tipped butt of a Black and Mild cigar. After the killing, had Chrissy stopped...
Oh, man, you crazy as hell. You smoked a cigar and threw it down there right there where your mom was, where you took your mom's... Like, man, you crazy as hell.
for a smoke to steel herself against what she had just done. Chrissy would continue her story, saying that after dropping her mom off at the location, her mother had reassured her that everything was going to be okay.
And then after you dropped her off, she said that she has a ride home.
Don't worry about me, Chrissy Bear. I've got a ride.
And then you and Matt headed back to the hotel that you guys were at.
Dear God. TikTok, hit the follow button. We got to hit these donuts too. Come on, y'all. One big push. Come on, hit me with them. Let's go.
And then I grabbed the alcohol she promised me I could have in her room. Which is now really horrible because I just...
She's got that 2 bottles of Barefoot. She got the hell out of there.
her, but she doesn't even
Teresa,
like
thank you, man.
Crown, and
Thank
she
you.
got that bottle from me.
Teresa.
I'd like you to let me know where you're at, just in case you're not in any trouble. I can't say that enough. But I think that of anybody, you're going to be the one that's going to be able to help me the most because you spent the most time with your mom. Okay?
Oh, Lord. Trying to loosen her up a little bit there. Oh, you're not in any kind of trouble. Oh, they believe me. I can just start speaking freely. Oh, Megan, thank you. Kimberly, thank you.
You don't think it was selfish that I left her, right?
No. I mean, it sounds like you put up with a lot while you were there. And it sounds like she was, it's possible that if what was going on continued, she might have drug you into a part of your life that you didn't want to go back to. So, I mean,
like them damn shoes.
It's easy to look at a situation from, the future and look back and say, I wish I would have done this differently. But
yeah, like those shoes.
We are all afforded that privilege. So
the interview would end soon after, with Chrissy saying that she really had nothing else to say. Detective Beverland, though, would give her one last chance to come clean as evidence outside of the interview room started coming together.
Oh, hell. The detective was like, look, gotta be straight with you. You're a shoo-in for the suspect of this.
I can't really say more.
I know. You don't have to.
Norma, thank you. We're so close, y'all.
I understand. Everything you've told me has been the truth to the best of your knowledge. Is that correct? Okay.
While family members, especially ones with strained relationships, are oftentimes suspects in murder cases, the sheriff's department were still operating at...
Why'd they blur his face out, not his kids behind him? Man, you crazy as hell for that one. It's the sheriff at his desk. They blur his face out, but they put all these little kids' face wide open, and whatever email he's looking at on his computer. Man, you crazy as hell for that.
That time of the questioning that Chrissy wasn't connected. While her interview would place her at the scene of the crime, tell of a difficult week between the two, and provide one piece of linking evidence, there was something else that had come up, not during the interview, but before it. Chrissy was living in East Peoria at the time and did not have her own transportation, so members of the McLean County Sheriff's Office had to come and get her and then take her back when they were done.
Whoa.
On the ride to the sheriff's office, Chrissy had sat in the front passenger seat while Detective Morgane Trickett sat in the back seat directly behind the young woman. In her police report of the incident, Detective Trickett said she noticed scratch-like cuts on the base of Chrissy's neck on the left side. A small cut on Chrissy's right hand little finger would also be noticed, and that cut would be explained later that day as Matthew Isbell was brought in for questioning. Matt.
Oh, that's right. The boyfriend is going to turn her in. Oh, hell. Man, just shave it off, dude. You look crazy as hell with a mustache like that.
Just 20 years old at the time, was a friend of Chrissy, although apparently a very...
Lex has a better mustache. And he's 8.
Close one. The two drank together and smoked weed, but according to him, they did not have a sexual relationship. During...
Oh, man, you crazy as hell. You're her boyfriend. You didn't have a actual relationship? Dude, you were her Uber driver.
You what?
In an interview with Deputy Dave Fritz, Matt would say that he had traveled to hang out with Chrissy on the night before Teresa was killed. He had rented his own separate hotel room away from where the two were working and had shown up because Chrissy had the night off. And then, during the interview, Matt did the unexpected. At first, Matt
came clean.
Told the deputy that he had driven Chrissy and Teresa to the site that night and dropped them off. Since they were there so Teresa could be picked up and head off to a party, he didn't want to stay around, so he drove around for a bit before coming back. When he did, only Chrissy was there, as he expected. He then said that he drove back to the Days Inn Motel where they grabbed a bottle of Crown Royal from Teresa's room number 423, before going back to
the Crown Royal,
his room to drink. When asked why there were inconsistencies between his story and Chrissy's, Matt just completely broke down and told the grisly tale of what had happened that night. Chrissy stabbed her mom, Matt.
Whoa.
began. He explained that earlier in the weekend, Teresa had said that because Chrissy had gotten her sent back to jail for a probation violation 2 years before, now Teresa was going to tell the police about how Chrissy had been
Kimberly, thank you.
working as a prostitute.
Thank you.
Chrissy,
Prosthetic parachute.
at the time, had
Entertainment and educational purposes
been
only.
fighting to regain custody of her 2-year-old daughter. This kind of information would mean there would be no way she would be able to get her own child back. It would end up mirroring the situation that had happened to Teresa when Chrissy was just 3 years old. Matt said that the location they had taken Teresa to had been given to Chrissy by her pimp and was a place he had used.
Dear God, her pimple.
Allegedly, to dump bodies in the past. He had advised to drag the body off into the bushes, take her purse and ID, cell phone, and then leave. Matt said the pimp told her that he had connections that would take care of the rest. Matt said,
What are you, Mike from Breaking Bad? You sound crazy as hell, too.
That the tire iron was used in the incident was one from his toolbox in the back of the truck. It had been modified to have a hammerhead welded on one end. That was the end Chrissy had used.
Oh, you are sick.
To hit her mother. He said he was sitting 15 feet away in the truck when the attack began. He said he tried not to look. He did not want to see what was happening. But he looked up when
I hope he goes to jail, too.
The older lady yelled out, "What the hell, Chrissy?" Chrissy then yelled out that this wasn't going to end the way she wanted it to. And he saw her drag Teresa to the ground, put her arm around her neck, and put her in a chokehold until the woman quit moving. Then Chrissy dragged her into the bushes, was gone for a few minutes, and when she came back out, her hands were covered in blood. Chrissy was also trying to staunch the bleeding from a cut on her little finger and used a long-sleeve Harley-Davidson t-shirt she had been wearing. She was also carrying a knife. The two would go back to the days in
Man, you are crazy as hell, lady.
motel, as he had said before, but they went to Teresa's room. Chrissy had also taken time to thoroughly wash her hands in the bathroom sink, leaving the bloody knife on the counter. Matt would leave the next morning, but he said Chrissy must have gotten a ride with her pimp back home. Later, she would get Matt to meet her and the pimp at Denny's
Shrimp, yep. Angel, thanks for the follow.
restaurant in Perkin, Illinois. Matt said the man told him,
I need that relaxed goose, y'all, because this one's pissing me off. Whitney, yeah, exactly. DNA everywhere. I need that goose, y'all. Hit me with a little duck goose action.
He would take care of disposing of Teresa's ID and other effects along with the knife. He said that Matt and Chrissy would have to get rid of the tire iron and
melted in a vat of acid. You've been watching Breaking Bad too much, man. This is crazy.
their cell phones so they could not be traced back to the scene. The pimp then told Matt that if he gave up any information, that he knew where Matt's family lived and that Matt's mother would be next. Immediately after the meeting, as Chrissy and Matt drove away, they were driving across a bridge on Highway 150. Chrissy attempted to throw the tire iron out of the truck, hoping it would fall into the river below. She missed, however, and hit one of the bridge pillars, causing the weapon to land in the roadway. Matt
Oh, man, tell me they didn't just drive up and get it.
Would circle the location on the map where it had landed and then provided the officers with that drawing of where the tire iron should have been. Shortly thereafter, Detective Trickett was able to recover the weapon right where Matt said it would be.
Wow.
Matt would be placed under arrest for the murder of Teresa Pman. Deputies would go back and pick up Chrissy Roush. According to Detective Trickett's police report of the incident, the officer knew
Trickett for the win. Detective Trickett.
This was going to be a close matter of timing. They knew from the earlier interview that she was supposed to check out of the Motel 6 later that day. When they arrived at her room, there was no answer at the door. They entered the room as a welfare check and to make sure that nothing had happened to her. She wasn't there. The officers, with the help of the motel manager, waited in the next room for Chrissy to return. When she did return, they quickly knocked on the door and asked her to return to the station with them for a few questions. Detective Trickett said that Chrissy's demeanor had changed greatly since the last time she had been seen. Now she was agitated and nervous. As they asked her a couple of questions, she went across the room, grabbed a glass pipe that she used to smoke marijuana, and tried to light it up right in front of the police officers. They brought her directly back to the station.
Man, you crazy as hell.
You were pretty upset last time you were in here.
The orange shoes still. And now you got what looks like a vote for Pedro shirt. Life without parole. Just for the shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not.
I was feeling like that was my fault.
Well, I mean,
and I'm realizing her decisions aren't.
Yeah, her decisions leading up to what happened to her were her decisions, and I agree with you on that. But I think that there's something that you're not being very forthcoming about.
There's not at all. You won't find anything because I didn't do anything.
Unhinged bananas crazy.
Okay.
I know you're trying. I don't have anything for you.
I think you do.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Okay.
You're going to need to see them shoes.
And I think...
Not because there's DNA on it, just because we got to throw them away, because you crazy as hell for wearing...
Deep down,
stop.
You want to let me know. But I certainly can understand why you'd be scared about it.
I'm scared about what?
I think you're not being
going
honest
to jail.
About what happened. What happened to your
I mean,
mom?
what?
As a matter of fact, I'm pretty positive that I know that you're not being honest with me about what happened to your mom.
No.
Okay. Just to kind of give you a little taste of what we're talking about, I mean, cell phones, whether the physical cell phone itself is destroyed or not, cell phone records, call history,
Lawyer.
Tower.
Lawyer.
Lawyer what?
I want a lawyer.
You want a lawyer? Okay, so you don't want to talk to me anymore? Okay. Do me a favor, just stay put for me, okay?
Detective Beverlin would leave the room, not just to shut down the interview, as the request for a lawyer normally does, but also because he noticed Chrissy digging at her fingernails during the interview. He immediately had a team from the state's CSI office come in and place paper bags over her hands. They would later take trimmings of her nails and swab her hands to see if they could find any traces of Teresa's DNA. They left her alone in the room for a long time. After an hour and a half, she begins to lose her composure.
Oh, man. TikTok, hit that follow button. Trying to get a little necklace action, too. Man, you look crazy as hell with 2 paper bags taped around your arms. Holy hell. Talk about wrapping it up.
While it is very common in interrogations to leave suspects alone with their thoughts and feelings of impending trouble, in this case, Detective Beverlin was just down the hall in another interview room talking with Matt Isbell, who had been brought back in from the lockup.
Angel, yep, but it's on YouTube. We're live on YouTube right now as well. Angel Wings, Tammy. It's The Mystery Project on YouTube. The Mystery Project. Is it on the screen, y'all? It should be on the screen. You know what? It's not even working. I'm just deleting that. It's The Mystery Project.
There were some issues he wanted to go back over with the young man.
Somebody type it in the chat and then pin it.
Never mind. Especially in light of some of the evidence they had found.
There was some possible, blood-like substance on the front of your shorts. Is there any explanation for that?
Right there.
Possibly. I want to say they said left side.
I'd had ribs that night and it was barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce? Okay.
Yep.
Where'd you have ribs at?
My mom's house.
Okay.
The ribs are still in the fridge.
Okay.
He said, I had ribs. I had ribs that night. Had me some ribs. Had me that McRib. Oh, crap. Never mind. It wasn't back yet.
Well, very good. All right. You don't believe that that you got any blood on you? I know that you already told him that her DNA shouldn't be on you because you already explained your involvement.
Yeah.
Any other explanation as to why there could possibly be any of Teresa's blood on any of your clothing?
No.
Okay.
Officers from the McLean County Sheriff's Office and the state police had searched the home he shared with his parents and his Ford F-250 pickup truck after receiving warrants. Within his bedroom inside the home, they found the clothes.
That's a bedroom?
That he said he had worn that night, along with a knife similar to the one he had described Chrissy as using on that night. The truck would provide few clues at first glance. It was a mess inside, and it was easy to see how Teresa could have been occupied at the time of the attack looking for a pack of cigarettes, and just as easy to see how the weapons used could have been hidden basically in plain sight. Tellingly, though, certain parts of the passenger car seat and the passenger door where Chrissy would have sat after the killing did show trace amounts of blood, only visible under black light after being treated with luminol. During this time, the CSI team enters Chrissy's room and began taking photos of her for evidence, paying attention to the spot on her neck where she had the scratch, as well as the injury to her finger. She is then provided with jail clothes. After the officers leave her alone, the full weight of...
Oh, thank God I got rid of them shoes. Now they got jail slippies. Oh my God. Thank you. But now she's in an orange suit. Dang it. I can't win. Spooky, thank you.
What is happening seems to come crashing down on her. By this time, Chrissy just wants to know what's going on. She loses her composure again after being left alone, but she would soon find out what was happening on the other side of that door.
You right there and put your hands back through your sleeves. And you just stand up, turn around, put your hands right behind your back. You're being placed under arrest for murder.
Both Chrissy and Matt would be booked on charges of first-degree murder in the death of Teresa Pman.
Wow.
A search of Teresa's motel room on the day her body was found had turned up a number of pieces of evidence, from a small plastic-wrapped ball of heroin, cell phone boxes, and even traces of blood in and around the sink where Chrissy had allegedly washed her hands after the killing. The evidence linked up squarely with the stories that had been told by Matt and Chrissy. The coroner's report would list out a litany of damage done to Teresa. Within, it detailed a blunt trauma injury to her head, evidence of strangulation that led to death, over
you are crazy as hell.
a dozen stabs and slashes to her neck, throat, and
That's your mom.
another 12 stabs to the woman's chest. Chrissy would plead guilty
Entertainment, educational purposes only.
to first-degree murder in December of 2018. She would be sentenced to 40 years, a term the judge defended by stating that even though there were mitigating circumstances and letters of support stating that many felt she could be rehabilitated, the very cold, calculated, and brutal nature of the crime demands that a sentence be imposed that is significant. Matthew Isbell would plead guilty to second-degree murder the following July and would receive a 12-year sentence for his part in the killing. While the man alleged to be Chrissy's pimp was named in the interview process, he was interviewed by local law enforcement and they were unable to tie any charges to him. His alibi and the police reasonings for not further investigating were redacted from the records. In the end, Chrissy had been brought into this world and caught up in a chaotic whirlwind of her mother's life from the very beginning. Even though she was rescued from it by family members and given a new adoptive family, she would fall back into the chaos once again. Her life proved that some troubles might truly be inherited, and down deep inside, there was a part of her heart that could not be softened. And, as her Facebook intro would attest, that part of her was very much something she embraced. Her credo reads, "I ain't sorry for what I dish out. You sit back and eat it, so not my problem, love."
Man, you sound crazy as hell for that one.
Unhinged bananas crazy.
YouTube, I love you guys. Go watch some of the ghost hunting stuff. It's going to kick you over to the haunted side on YouTube. Love you guys. Have a good night. Like the video on your way out. And go like the video of the ghost hunting stuff. It's over there, y'all.